Yeah, it's your boy E3, son of the legendary Godfather, gangster rap, Eric Easy, right? And yeah, you rockin' with NUGL TV. You know, we rich and ruthless, baby. Once again, NUGL TV, rich and ruthless, baby. We choose to keep it real. Reel it out.
Well, back again. Jessica is in the building.
I'm just kidding.
Let's give it up for Jessica, my co-host for today. It's good
guys?
seeing you again. It's been a minute.
It has been a minute. What's up, guys? How are you?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
How are you?
And of course, as always, the one, the only, Big A.
In the
Now give
building.
it up. Yeah. And today we have really a good friend of mine, Stephan Escalante, and this is Dre. And you guys, I would love to introduce you guys. This is Plant Science, and they're doing some very cool stuff, shaking up the industry a little bit. But you want to get straight into it?
Are they advancing agriculture through science? Is that what it is?
That's exactly what it is.
Let's do it. Let's get to the advancing part of it. Let's get busy. It's a pleasure having you guys in, man. I want to thank you again for supporting us here at NUGL.com, NUGL TV, and Jessica and Big A. I want to thank you for supporting us in the first edition of the Kustock magazine.
That's right.
That was a very, very big task that we took on. I thought we was going to meet the deadline, and we did.
Shit, 2 weeks early.
And,
what?
It was 2 weeks early, but we made sure that we stuck to our word, stuck to our gun, and made sure that corporate America see that we can do it. We're publishers anyway of other magazines, Garden and Greenhouse, Marijuana Growers, and NUGL TV magazine. So, and what was the other one? Garden and Greenhouse.
Garden and Greenhouse, Rich and Ruthless, NUGL TV, Kustock magazine.
Yeah. And that was it, I believe. And
you can think of one and we can't DM it.
The Marijuana Growers.
That's right.
Strictly for Marijuana Growers. Yeah, but no, it's a pleasure having you guys. And let's give it up for Plant Science. Coming all the way down here to sit with us, man, to give us a little bit of this agriculture research and this consulting type thing you've been doing. I'd like to know more about that, Jessica.
So this is Stephan Escalante. He is a co-founder and business partner to Dre Young. This is the chief visionary officer. These two started out way back in the illicit market days, guys, in 2005, 2009. And I would like you guys to give me a little bit of background. So Stephan, you want to start out with how you got into the cannabis business in the first place?
Yeah, so I got into the cannabis business. Actually, it was in 2006. It was actually as an investor. I had a group of friends, because I have a real estate background, come from that industry, and we had a group of friends, and we was really exploding in California, and so we invested into a small little retail operation in Los Angeles. So that's where I got my start back in 2006.
And when you guys were doing the real estate operation, not to put anybody in the spot here, but was it a legal operation, or was it like in the illicit market days, or where were you guys at with
That was well, you could say it's illicit now.
Right.
Back then, it was all through the Compassionate Care Act. So we had nonprofit set up, and that was the way things were done with a nonprofit, and it was all donations and things like that. So we were in the gray area, but we were above board as far as, the Compassionate Care Act was concerned. But, in some ways, it was still illicit,
Wow.
My interest in that part is because they're really involved. You and your wife, Annette, are really kind of involved in the licensing and the, I saw at one point, I think Annette was on the board of directors somewhere,
yeah.
Correct?
So it was the California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. As, it went onto the ballot, I believe in 16, it was approved. I believe there's a 2-year gap between 16 and 18 before actually, the process that gets rolling with the licenses. So during that time, the California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, who she sat on the board, they decided to do a cannabis, or what they call Green Rush panel. Mm-hmm. So she was the chair of the Green Rush. And so she did like a lot of events in Riverside, in LA. We had Lori Ajax come out, and I forget who at that time was the USDA, I believe, because they were separate. They were separate organizations now. Now they've actually been consolidated into one. But at that time, so we had the head of each department, and just really sharing the information with business owners, especially, just in that community. And so we just wanted to let them know the opportunity, and at the same time, trying to build relationships and get in ourselves.
And then when did you guys actually make the transition from being an investor, getting out of that area, and going into your own business?
So that would have been, let's see, in 2000 and somewhere around 15, I believe it was, is where we decided to basically get on the cultivation side, you know, and my partners, you know, have been cultivating for a long time, some of them. So we decided to jump in on the cultivation side, and that was in 15. And, you know, again, same thing. It was still under Compassionate Care Act. And, you know, we were running that from that point to today.
And how do you two know each other?
So we were actually introduced from a friend of mine. It was actually just a random phone call that Steve had put together asking his friend if he knew anybody in the cannabis industry. And that phone call was to me.
That's awesome. And sometimes that's all it takes, right? But you find somebody and you just kind of mesh immediately. What is it that built trust between you guys after your initial meeting? And that was just a couple years ago, right? So what is it that built trust from that point now, so where you're actually co-founders of Plant Science?
I think it was just more family ethics and just morals as a whole. When I met Steve's family, it was warm, it was welcome, and everything that you would normally find in this industry, it feels wrong immediately. So you kind of just know, you know, and I think that's what was kind of great between us, is that we had a mutual respect, and then over time, just through love and, you know, through the love of plant, we found this commonality between each other that was just beyond trust. It was everything. So
you started in investing in the cannabis market in 2005, 2006.
Yep.
And you started actually in edibles in 2009.
Yeah.
So what happened to my edibles? Where's my edibles now?
Oh man.
What's up, man?
Oh man.
Big A, you didn't even bring us some edibles, man.
Yeah.
Stingy.
We got you. Coming soon. Yeah, so I started with edibles. I was actually always in, cannabis was always around, put it like that. But my sister actually had triple negative X breast cancer.
Wow.
And at that time, she was in between the transition, being able to consume versus being able to smoke, just not knowing, you know, that gray area, what would happen. So I felt that it was something that I could do to be able to help alleviate her pain. So I started an edible company just using my knowledge of what I knew in cannabis, and put that together with, you know, what Mama taught us, and how to bake and cook from scratch. And I took that on and wanted to make a difference in her life. So that was the real start of what happened.
So you had a really deeply personal reason to kind of go into the cannabis market. I'm guessing that was probably, you probably didn't get your licenses and everything like that just to make like edibles for your sister. So you were probably operating in more of a, say, gray space at the time, right?
It was a gray space at the time.
So there's definitely a difference now. And Big A, I'm sure you can, so Big A has the Rich and Ruthless guys, right? And Rich and Ruthless has their cannabis line. And now I'm always really curious about a couple of things. A, why some people, even after all this time being legal, and, you know, we say legal very loosely, you know, but why some people choose to stay in the illicit market, why they decide to go into the legal market, like what their reasons are on both sides. And then more so than that, what some of the benefits are, because I think we kind of got bamboozled at some point where they thought, oh, it's going to be legal and everything's going to be perfect, it's going to be great. But there's something there.
I was an advocate. I came up in the 70s, 80s, 90s. And, of course, everything was illegal. From weed to germ, PCP, everything was illegal. And, you know, you make money, right? So when we passed that law for, was it Prop 15 back in the days, where you can be part of a collective. You have to be a member of a collective, meaning if there's a dispensary, you could grow 12 plants, but you can be a part of a collective and not grow, but you can buy from the collective. That was safe access at the point. So when we all voted to make it legal, it put a lot of strain on a lot of companies who got involved in that because I rather kept it medical. As of right now, what I've learned.
You would have rather kept it medical than recreational?
Yeah. When it was recreational, it put a lot of damper on things. Now, I was doing recreational in 2000. I experienced recreational in 2000, I think 10, something like that, in Seattle, Washington. They were already ahead of the game. We just did our deal in 2015 with DAS. And I learned about the tier 1s, tier 2, tier 3s. I learned about CBD. When I went to a coffee shop, there were older people in their 60s, 70s getting coffee, but getting 20 drops of CBD. And I'm like, what is that?
I'm like, I got arthritis too.
Like, it don't get you high? She said, no, I come here every day. I had rheumatism, arthritis, right? And I had all these doctors prescribing me this stuff. And it was never doing nothing to me, but then I came here and they offered me CBD. I've been coming here for the past 4 years, every day, relentlessly. And I don't have arthritis anymore. So I'm like, wow. Now I'm getting interested, I'm like, wow. So that's what clicked me on. And then being from Compton and being arrested back in the days for 2 joints in my pocket, and got a felony and got probation.
That's so wild.
But I used that this time to use me as a social equity partner. So my distributor can look good within the cannabis community.
Got it.
And we got Big A them. So now with them bringing me in, I've been in since late 2018, learning the matrix, learning everything about it. I said, there's more for me to learn and to get involved in than just being a name, right? Being a brand. We're more of a lifestyle. So I've seen my niche in the cannabis community by being a lifestyle. Easy, the merchandise, the TV, the artist, the stage, it was more okay. So I put myself up there with the bigger brands. And because my blueprint is different than it might be the same, but I built a relationship in my distributor with the actual farms. The actual farms, there's so many popping up that they're growing so much they can't get rid of it quick enough because of distribution, because of some might go bad, you know what I mean? So we did deals with different farms within California to say, you know what, we don't do exclusive, but we can guarantee you we'll take 1,000 of these. We'll wipe that out, you know what I mean? And it worked for us because now we can get it a lot affordable, and my blueprint is a little bit different. I'm not trying to be cookies or Wonder Belt or, trying to be a $70, $80 ace. We're more catering to the consumers, the older people, the college students who have a small budget but want more for their buck and still get the same THC content as the $70, $80 ace. But my move was the social equity, the legal part of it, because I came from the illegal. And I don't want none of my people that looked at me like, oh, Big A still slinging weed, ooh, he's going to do the sessions. We don't even do sessions. I might do the cannabis cup, the cannabis type of events or whatever, because I'm in the legal side of it. Now, we just did Kush Talk, and a lot of my homeboys that do illegal shit, yeah, you can have, but you better not push shit on my table. Because I was there promoting. I'm here on the media side now. Yeah,
which is a weird thing also, right?
No, because the brand is well known. It's affordable. So when people saying Rich and Rufus was there by the flyers and Little Easy, they came to my booth like, Big A, y'all ain't got no, you want the magazine, right?
Well, that's kind of a funny tip now, right?
Yeah.
Because so many people like yourselves have come from the illicit market or come from the gray area, wherever you want to call it, and going from that to all of a sudden going, oh, hey guys, they said we could do it now. Okay, so you know how we've been all keeping it secret, what we've been doing for the last 10, 20 years? Screaming from the rooftops, advertise, go ahead and make a commercial. And it's like, I feel like half the market goes, is this a trick?
No,
like they don't want to do it. They don't want to talk out loud.
I look at it like you would look at it. You don't see what I see. You might not see what I see. I see corporate America, people ain't never had a shit in their life, making millions of dollars of something I went to go to jail for. And I'm on the bottom of the list of even trying to get involved in. So I'm on the bottom of the list when it comes to an application, when it comes to having 300,000, when it comes to all the legal stuff to do. I'm out the game because I'm not financially in position. A lot of us not. You know what I mean? So a lot of us who do get action and get voted into social equity, apply, okay, you can do it, where they go to the homies that's on the underground and get their little 10s and 20s and 30s, put this money together. I got the license now. Now, these guys put in $10,000 to the little homie who got his social equity application in. He got the building. So now he said, man, I'm going to get y'all out the illegal business.
Yeah.
I got 2 homies that did it already. He owned 3 dispensaries in Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's
and
beautiful.
this is a guy who was in to Prop 15, right? He had the medical. You couldn't sell out the back door. You could only sell an ounce. Well, it was his employees. He had like 4 shops on the liquor store, so he's moving around. He put people in there he can trust. They did everything in the front right. Sign you up, send your medical card, go inside. I need to get 2 ounces. Man, Jake, I can give you an ounce right now, but meet me at the back door. Boom, it was the feds. So not only did they an ounce, they came back, man, we get 4 ounces, quarter P. Okay. Back door. We got raided. His wife went to jail. His kids went to the orphan. He did 10 years in jail.
Damn.
Okay, behind his employees. Now, he just got out. He had his stores in Compton. So I dealt with my city council. There was an issue where a lot of homies opened up illegal dispensaries in Compton. And they was getting raided. So I wanted to find out why they were getting raided because I thought it was medical. I'm listening to the homies. What are you doing? So let me go to my city council in my district and find out what's going on, why all the raids. Well, the raids was coming in because we voted to have 4 dispensaries in Compton, right? I said, okay. So I said, look here, man, if y'all voted that we can do cannabis in Compton, let's do 10 dispensaries because you got people on that side that will come on this side. Let me give you the street. Let me tell you why we need 10. You know, you got the tortilla flats, Hispanics over there. They, let them have their store. Let it be even. Cool. Found out about it that my council member that I was talking to, that's on the board, was the one that was sending the sheriff to the location to shut him down because he had his people getting the applications. He's just got indicted for voter fraud. Here's my homeboy. He's the one who actually officiated Easy E Day in Compton. Officially, so April the 7th of every year is Easy E Day in Compton, do a parade, all that. So it goes to show you that I look at the people who never had a felony, who got money just to come in the game because it's legal now. But when it was illegal, they was doing it, but on the back end and still making a lot of money because it's my distributor. 2 of my distributors came from the illegal side, but they're legal now. You know what I mean? Which I admire because they understand the concept. They understand the importance of bringing us in, not just saying, fuck you, I'm just going to get this money. And, now they understand why it was important to bring me in. You know what I mean? Why it was important to bring Daz in. You know what I mean? Because we're part of the culture. And that's the big difference, that I see to answer that question.
So since things have changed, I mean, there's a lot that's changed, right, in the last however many years.
Yeah.
And coming from the hip hop world, and I think that they really sort of catapulted the conversation about cannabis throughout the market, right?
Yeah.
So they kind of started the conversations. Willie Nelson was ignored. All those guys were ignored. But when you're screaming it from the rooftops, things change. But that kind of forms a sort of culture amongst the cannabis community, right? So just to kind of tie in the rich and ruthless side of things in the music into what you guys are doing now, how do you think the culture has changed since from going from the illicit market to what you're doing right now? What changes have you seen in the market?
So the cannabis culture, or are you talking about
cannabis culture?
I think the cannabis culture is not as robust as it was. For example, even talk about Kush Doc, amazing event. Last weekend?
Yeah.
Is that where we were there?
Saturday,
Last weekend? Amazing event, great vendors, all that. But prior to recreational, when you would go to events like that, I mean, it seemed like double the amount of people.
Always.
All those companies that were thriving in the illicit market, if you will, a lot of them that I was a raving fan and are no longer in business.
They were the culture.
Yeah, they were the culture. So we're losing a lot of those guys.
Why do you think those happened? Why did that how those specific people, for instance, that you may want or not want to name names, but why do you think those companies died when they were kind of doing so well where they were?
I think it comes down to the same thing, barrier of entry. What we were just talking about. Like, it is so difficult to get a license.
Yeah.
It's and not only is it difficult just to be able to have the opportunity to get the license, but then the money it takes to build, cultivation facilities, you're talking millions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dispensaries, not as much, but still a heavy, heavy output.
Yes.
And what was your experience like getting into getting plant science off the ground? Tell us about the different moving parts of plant science and what it took to get there.
As far as plant science, the brand, or going from illicit to...
Let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
Start at the beginning.
Yeah.
To go from illicit to license, like I said, it's been 16, so it's literally it took us 4 years of, on it, going to mixers, politicians, different cities, who's going on board. It took us quite some time, but just staying with it, figuring out like the process of getting licensed, keeping track of cities, and things like that. And we finally found an opening that got us in, by the grace of God, because it just kept going and going and going. And there was a lot of frustration to where I even had to adopt the attitude of, you know what, I'm just going to stay on the illicit market.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay taxes. Like, that's an adopted mindset because of the frustration to get on the legal side.
Right.
Because why wouldn't you? Yeah, you're going to pay taxes, but you're going to pay taxes when the police shut you down in your illicit grow or dispensary. You get broken into, there's taxes. Like, there's all these costs of looking over your shoulder.
Right.
So
what was the benefit for you to make that jump when the opportunity arose and kind of presented itself? What was it that made you take that jump instead of just saying, and I think some people do, I'm not going to pay for the license and I'm not going to pay the taxes. I'm going to wait until I get taxed when they break into my shop. You know what I mean? So when they shut me down, then I'll pay. So what made you decide to go, no, we're going to do it this way?
Well, we've been at it, trying to get the license. So we wanted to get a license. Yeah. But I think the most important thing is this for us. We come from, a business background. Real estate investing is a big part of our companies. So you have an asset. One, like traditional stuff, illicit market stuff, you have something that is producing cash for you, but you don't have an asset, right?
Absolutely.
So when you go into the license size, now I have an asset.
Yeah.
If I own the real estate, then it's even a bigger asset because I own the real estate and I own the company that has this grow built out in it.
So what is your background in real estate? Because you're advertising. I'm sorry. Your grow space, your cultivation facilities, real estate. I'm sorry. I'm going to read it off real quick. Building, grow, cultivation facilities, real estate, consulting, cannabis grow, and cultivation. Like all of these things are separated but different, right? I'm sorry. Connected but different. Yeah. What is the connection between these things for you guys?
It's the actual partners. Each partner is a working partner, so each partner actually has their hands on, which is way different than any other situation where you might just have vested millions of dollars being thrown in. Here, you actually have a partner that came from real estate. You have a partner that came from a licensing background. You have another partner that actually came from doing events with the people. You have a partner that came from a construction background. So putting all of those beasts together are kind of all of the elements that you need to, make a working horse. So how many partners, I don't want to get you off the partner topic yet. How many partners are there? There's 6.
And you said you have construction, real estate. What are the 5 specialties?
So we have construction, we have real estate, we have licensing, we have consulting, and then we have like event and branding as well. So
that's amazing. And how did you guys all find each other?
Well, that's so one of my partners has been one of my good friends since elementary school.
See there?
So we came up together. We came up in the struggle of in our younger years, going to jail, getting arrested, coming back together, getting our lives together, and like really shifting, and then starting a business back then when we were young and working together.
Yeah.
And then, we grew, this is 25 years ago or 25 years ago. And so we grew together separate, both ended up in real estate, a lot of investing, commercial real estate, buying and fixing and selling houses, that stuff. And then, this just slowly, just magically came together. I have 2 other partners that I do all the real estate, escrow company, retail real estate, investments, right? So they're my partners in everything. And I met them just actually prospecting one day about 12 years ago. And we became super tight. So it's like a family. Everybody's been together for a long time. And it's an amazing, and everybody has a different skill. That's what makes it so powerful.
Tell me about the grow, because you guys have how many strains now?
Doing genetics. So
we have a ton of strains in R&D right now. As far as 5 new ones?
Yeah, we have 5. We have 5 new ones after going through maybe 150 to choose from.
Oh, wow.
Like Big A said, it's there's a million, but the reason as to why we narrow those down or for the people. So, we're narrowing down the choices that actually will make a difference, that will be, things that will aid, that will provide medicine, that will actually be things that will, be for the world.
What did you bring with you?
I like that story, you guys, you just explained, right? Something I learned when you asked about how many partners, right? And the specialties everybody bring together. It's like building a cake. You bring it there, everybody gets a slice. We put it in the oven, and everybody's ingredients multiplied that cake, so everybody gets a slice. That's how NWA broke up, because everybody would put in the ingredients to build the cake, but Easy take the whole cake.
Yeah.
Wait, I was like, hey man, do I get a slice? You know what I mean? You might get a forkful, but this is mine. Like Eazy-E album. That was really an NWA album, but they call it the Eazy-E album. You know what I mean? Easier said than done. And it took what it built NWA. They did that same formula, but made it an Eazy-E album. So you figure if we all built that Eazy-E album, we should all be able to get some of the cake. But Eazy said, this is my cake. That's where the breakdown started at.
Yeah.
But within a company like this, those partners who's bringing each celebrity to the table has an equal part of that cake. You know what I mean?
That's right. On your own, you're just eggs, man. I'm flour, but together we're cookies.
We build a cake here.
I like to say that
everybody's advantage to get this going. You know what I mean?
When this all came together, especially with these partners that we've known basically for a long time, when I look at our team, it's really at least in my opinion, I look at number 1 draft picks in each particular area.
Absolutely. No, that's a good way to put it.
Have you ever got approached by the SPACs that's out there? These big time investors, you had Jay-Z coming to California with a $540 million budget to start Monogram, right? And his whole thing was to get artists brands going. And the first one was his wife's, and they called it Monogram. That was hers. But Monogram was the company. So they spent I think $8 for the box to make the box, right? And then they spent $8 to make the box. They spent another $4 to put whatever that box in over. It was a beautiful box. But you're talking about a $90 8. Those investors lost because none of the retailers bought that shit wholesale and brought it in. And when it did come in, they brought in a handful just to see what happened on consignment. Well, that fund flopped, gone now. And a lot of the brands, a lot of distributors was like, "Big, you might get approached. I know we're not exclusive, but because they came by and looked at everybody's number. They looked at a 2-year number, and out of the brands that he started with me, right in 2018, and when the SPAC came to him, it was in 2021. So at one point he said, "Wait, we can't just have Rich and Ruthless." So they said, "We're going to cut down on how many different strains we give Rich and Ruthless, but build our others on top of that." So when investors came and offered, $10 million for this strain here, but it was always Rich and Ruthless, but they didn't own Rich and Ruthless. And I came back and said, they offered you $10 million for Rich and Ruthless based on what we bid in 2 years. Not alone the four years we've been together, but just on the 2 years, multiplying it by 5, I think we're worth more than that. And I'm not selling it. You know what I mean? I'm keeping it, owning it. You know what I mean? So when he tried to offer one of theirs, right, the new brands he started, based on our blueprint, and nothing's changed, but they said, well, show us the 2 years. And they couldn't because it was less than a year. So they kind of walked away from that. But we understand that people were coming by trying to buy brands. Have you ever had that experience or somebody trying to come in and, you know, buy you guys out?
I would say not buy us out as far as a brand because we're just launching our brand. I'm sure at some point that would, right. But what they do try to do is come and buy our facilities.
Yeah.
Because we, you know, not only do we build our own facilities,
yes.
cultivation facilities,
yes.
we build for other operator and growers.
Wow.
So right now we probably have with E-Conservation Construction, we probably have about 5 facilities we're building right now for other cultivators.
Oh, wow. So can somebody contact you and say, hey, I have a license, I need a facility, I don't know anything about a grow facility, and you guys will guide them through it or do it for them?
No, either or.
Nice.
Yeah. Guide them through it or guide them and build it out. You know, the build out is the toughest, right? I mean, it's
build out's the toughest.
It's understanding, you know, cultivation facilities and how to make them really efficient, you know, using freezer panels, which everybody's adopting now.
Yeah.
We were like probably one of the first ones to adopt them. Not the first, but in the first batch of people back in 15. The ones you see in Costco when you put the freezers.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so it's, you know, and those panels take, you know, there's no drywall. So it's, they literally come together like a puzzle.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just a lot more efficient, quicker. Maybe a tad bit more than drywall, but you'll knock it out in a couple weeks compared to a couple months.
I just, I deal with the Arabics. Out in Harupa, Hemet, and they're a close-knit family. I learned about the Dutch owning all that farmland out there and how they work with the Arabics. Then I learned about the Turkish that's out there that don't get along with the Arabics. Big A, don't let them know you're talking to me. I'm like, God damn, I'm learning so much as I grow, right? Yeah. But one of the cousins, he's the billionaire or whatever, and they all together, but they're all separate, right? I mean, their dispensary is not even a mile away from each other. So the older cousin I dealt with, because he wanted to give me a dispensary in San Joaquin or something like that, next to him. And Hemet said no. The next city over, which is a block, said yes. So I deal with the city council over there. One of the partners hit him. He said, well, I got somebody, Big A. He's already in it. I would like him to have the store. We just partner. I'm all in. Let's do it. Because he owned the building. But he couldn't do the dispensary without having a grow off site, right? Okay, that shouldn't be a problem, right? So we got the building. He bought it, got a year for a lease. He bought the building, got it for 2 years or whatever he did. It was there for 2 years. Zoned for a dispensary. And a shopping center mall, you know what I mean? Not off-site, but they wanted the grow to be off-site. Okay, cool. He don't deal with his cousins who own damn near half the fucking grow out there, right? Bro, why you just ask them to give you a garage? You know what I mean? Give us one. Even if we put some indoor, there's a couple plants. We got the agricultural side. Well, come to find out about it, he said, well, Big Al, I'm gonna tell you right now, this is a baby to me. I'm like, what else you got? He said, I own 110,000 square foot grow in California City. What? And I broke it up to 10,000 square feet per building. What? He said, I'm building it right now. I would love to give you one. What? You know what I mean? So I slid out there. And sure enough, he just spent, I think he said he spent $600,000 on just the lights. That's when I got my, what you mean $600,000? You did LED? He said, yes. I said, let me see what it is. I'm boots on the ground. Okay, let's put this on hold. Let's go see what that is. And it blew my mind. It blew my mind. So he actually gave me one. He said, it's ready for you. The lights is in there. Just come out here with your team. What? You know what I mean? Because we don't shake. They don't do contracts. They shake. He said, Big A, you shake on it? Says we need. I got scared to shake. I haven't been out there yet. But those opportunities come. That's why I was interested in what you guys were saying about building out shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So they come and offer on that. You know, we finished, I'll give you double. but we'll make that double back in a year and a half.
Right.
You know, so.
Oh, of course. I seen it happen. Actually, my distributor under the license agreement that I got, we have our own micro license. I made my team here get our own license. Aruba. So we have a dispensary, build another dispensary in Eastville, but we have our own micro license, which is manufacturing, distribution, retail. We're using the manufacturing distribution side of it for growing now. And my distributor for now wanted to pay $1 million for our building, lock and keys. I'm like, no. Much as we put into it, and much as it's worth, and I'm looking at what we built together just on my brand, like, my damn money even to give. No, so my team didn't feel like that it was going to work. So, we just kept moving on, but I understood the fact.
For sure.
You know what I mean? That would kind of like, cut us dry. You know what I mean? So, but we stuck to our guns, and it's working now. You know what I mean? So I get that. I just want to know if anybody approached you. But now I understand you're a part of the game, and I like that.
So you guys have regular distributors that I'm sure you go to for things like the freezer panels, things like the grow lights, all of those things. So when somebody comes to you and they say, I want to build out my own facility, I don't exactly know what grow lights are best. I don't know what freezer panels are best. Do you have like options for them, or do you have a set
build out
that you typically use?
Yeah, no, there's not a...
Everything has to be
because
different.
Square footage could be different.
Yeah.
They might just want 100 lights or 400 lights, so everything is different.
And I would have to say that most of the operators have an idea of the equipment they're going to use. I mean, they may come to me, hey, here's what I'm thinking about using. What do you think? Like, maybe that would be a more appropriate question. But if the question was, like, what lights do I use, all that, then obviously they have no idea what they're doing.
Right.
It might not be a good situation.
Do you have any advice for anybody with money? Let's say $1 million. That's money to me and not money to the cannabis industry. Would you have any advice, and what advice would you give a person from your standpoint, from all the things you guys can do for an individual that wants to invest in a grow? What advice do you have for that person?
Is the $1 million?
No, I'm just saying, he got money.
Is he a grower or he's just an investor?
He's just an investor.
Okay.
And he wants to get into the business because he likes what he see, likes what he's hearing. Because you have people like that. I got mods want to do it. Like the Arab, he has money, he just want to do it. But he's not a grower. He's not even in the business. But he got the money to do this. What advice would you give a person?
Do you want to go first?
I would say invest into people that you trust. First. If you can't afford to do it on your own, and you can't afford to do it on your own, I would say that invest into a team that's doing what you believe is the direction on what you want to be a part of.
Yes.
I think that's the biggest advice I would give.
Invest in the pot.
Yeah.
And be a part of the pot. And grow with the pot and say, hey, I want to now. Now that pot knows you, let's get over here and get you going. And now we can break off another team to run that. Got it. I like that.
Yeah, because going into these operations as well, it's like, first and foremost, you're investing into the person, right? Like Trey's saying, like, most of the times there's no tangible asset. So most situations, not all, we have some we own too, but are leases, right? So 42,000 square foot building, there's a lease, it's $10 million, right? So there's a raise. So the investor coming in, one, like Dre said, most important, he's investing into the people, but also understanding the dynamics of, controlling your OpEx, your operating expenses. Yeah. That's where I see a lot of operators getting crushed by not negotiating the right leases going in. You could be in high rent areas, even though it's cultivation, that's going to eat up your overhead to where you can move out low desert area, right? Much cheaper rents, so also distribution. Yeah, is it going into stores?
Right.
If something happens, do you have a brand to back it too? Like, let's say our, relationships with different brands that we cultivate for, let's say the market shifts. Okay, what are all the hedges you have in this company to make sure you survive and thrive even when the market's in a complete downturn. Right now, we're
like
experiencing a big downturn.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
heard that. I like that. And I like what you just said. Now, you have people, you have brands who you cultivate for. How does that work? Like, you have your own brand, which you grow for. Let's get to this question. You got your own brand. You have your own distro, right? How easy is it, or how hard is it to get this brand into stores? Is it your sales team? Is it the relationship? What is it that plant science can get their product, your brands? You make your menu, right? Who do you send out there with the menu, and how do you determine which stores? Or you have pre-stores that you already have relationships, say, hey, bring it to us and we'll get it out there.
I think it's a little bit mixture of all of those things.
Okay.
Everything is about relationship.
Yeah.
Our flower is high quality.
Okay.
So when people see our flower, they want to have that flower in their
Okay.
store.
Okay.
Because it breeds the success of their store. And relationship again, to where, some of these stores have seen our packaging. They feel like it kind of aligns with what they're doing as well.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect fit.
Well, you guys were doing white labeling before you guys started Plant Science, right? So can you tell us a little bit about what, when you were doing white labeling for other brands, and then how that motivated you to get into Plant Science?
Yeah, so actually we've been white labeling for a while now.
Okay, that was the
and we've been behind the scenes, especially coming from the illicit market. You know, you always want to be behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So we weren't very privy to putting a brand out there until we saw what those brands were doing.
Yeah.
And then we decided, like, hey, why don't we do this for ourselves?
Absolutely.
And then
They're using our flower.
We're using our flower.
Right.
We saw the reaction of the people and how they responded to that brand using our flower. And we decided it would make more sense for us to start something that we believed in and show people what we can do.
Okay, this is a stock market kind of question. Now that you internalized and brought people to you, brands, and y'all doing your wholesale thing, you're doing everything for them, boom, boom. Not distributing it for them, but packaging it up or whatever, however, and you've seen how they were working, right? They're using your flour. Okay, well, we're going to get our flour going over here. Do you make yours a little cheaper on the wholesale end to get yours in the store as a fresh new batch? Or did the stores know that there was a plant-sized product? Would they say, Jim Bob OG? Jim Bob OG buys from y'all. He got that fucking plant-sized flour. It's fire. It's moving. Then you guys say, hey, we're finna do it too, right? Do you have it cheaper?
No, so
Or is it the same?
It's different genetics.
Genetics,
We kept
different plants. Different, gotcha.
We kept our babies to ourselves.
Okay.
We had a vision for the future that we would start a brand at one point in time.
To hear, you
but
know what I mean?
yeah,
That's
no,
a stock market question.
Yeah, no.
Insider trade.
I was actually going to ask you about that next. So when you're doing white labeling for other brands, and you saw that they were having really good success with your flower, was that a test, like a sample market that you were using from the get? Or were you white labeling and then decided, hey, we should do this for ourselves? Like, was it part of the plan all along, or was that your test market?
Yeah, it was unwittingly. Like there was no necessary plan for the brand, just a plan to continue producing quality cannabis.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we noticed like these brands, and it was like, then we start seeing it on social media. We start seeing these things, and we're like, dude, we can, like we can do this. Like, you know what I mean? It's already going into it.
Yeah, and then we finally actually started just with like a test bag. And we put it out there, and we actually found it on social media through kind of the same circuit.
Wow.
So that was like our aha moment.
Right.
We shared that in text messages, and then it was like, hey, look, it's there. So it was like, hey, why not? Now it's time to do it.
How big was this test bag?
It was a pretty big bag.
That sounds like more than a trash bag. So where are you guys at right now in the development process of your brand, of your products?
I think we're continuously growing. I think in this industry, you're always having to learn. You're always having to find what's going on. So right now we're in the building phase of understanding now that we're in the stores, we're trying to understand what our clients love, what they need, and how we can provide that for them, pretty much.
And you have new grow facilities coming up, is that right?
Yes, we have one that we literally, I say this just finished, but it's literally, the build out is complete. We have some ADA work in the parking lot that needs to be done. That'll be done next Wednesday, and then we'll get our final state license. So that facility is opening up next couple weeks, if you will. And that one, we're going to focus on nothing but the highest end quality cannabis. It's a little smaller facility of us, but it's super high tech. I mean, badass. It's super badass.
Nice.
And then the next one after that is we're starting 42,000 square foot, which is 2 licenses, 1 building, has a common area that shared. So that's the next project. And then we have another 20,000 square footer, 14,000 square foot nursery, complete build from the ground up, warehouse of 25 to 30,000 square feet. We're in the planning commission on that right now. Then we'll do the build out after that. And then we also have 4.5 acres we closed on that we'll see where the market goes. That's a lot of facilities, a lot of square footage.
A lot of square footage.
But that one is our architectural plans for about 80,000 square feet. You know,
and all of these facilities, are you keeping for yourselves? Are these for your grows, or are you building them out to flip them and sell them?
No, this is all ours.
Wow.
Ultimately, we'll consolidate the grows, you know, the brand, the retail stores, and it'll all be consolidated in one and probably sold. You know, I think, you know, as bigger companies come in, they're going to want bigger facilities, bigger, you know.
How big is your team? Because I feel like with how many grows do you have now? How many grows facilities do you have?
We have 2 that are actually, well, the second one's about to be up and running. So 1 currently with the second one about to be up and running this month, and then
CUPs on the rest.
Planning
in some page of about to start construction. We have like I said, you know, a few of the partners are general contractors that have, I mean, like a ton of employees, right? And on top of doing 5 other grows.
Yeah, wow.
Right, for other people.
For other people. So you're doing 2 of your own. You have like 4 in the works, right?
4 in the pipeline.
4 in the pipeline right now. And then you also have ones for other companies that you're essentially white labeling a facility for them. And how many of those do you? How big is your team? I feel like you've got either
That's a staff.
Right? I feel like you either have, you don't sleep at all, and it's just you guys Santa Clausing it all around the world, right? Or like you guys have a massive team. Like what's up with you guys? How is your
I would
staff?
say it's probably a massive team. Now, you figure there's 6 partners, right?
Yeah.
And everybody has a team. Like, and you know, and then you got to figure construction. That's a whole construction cruise, right? So that handles all the outsourcing. Then my other 2 partners, construction guys too, they manage the construction teams for our own stuff. So that handles all the construction, you know, distribution, moving the companies forward. You know, you see me and Dre here talking in this interview and a ton of other roles.
Now, somehow you seem like you guys have such a massive team. On the same token, you seem like such a family, tight-knit business where you haven't gone Walmart and sacrificed quality, and you haven't, you know, stuck to you and your buddy to keep the circle small. You guys have branched out and found like really key people to build a solid team and still have a family unit. And like this giant structure you guys are launching. So where do you guys think you're going to be at next year? This time next year, where do you think you're going to be at?
Well,
Grow-wise, strain-wise, company-broad?
Well, I'll answer the grow-wise. I'll tell you exactly where we'll be at. I know exactly where we'll be. I'll be saying we're just finishing the 42,000 square footer. If we're lucky, a year.
Right.
Okay? You know, it's going to be somewhere around there. We're crushing it with plant science. It's a great experience for people. A lot of great feedback. It's growing. We're in a ton of stores. And we're just finishing the 42,000, and we're about to start building the nursery in the 20,000. That's probably what I'm going to say.
I mean, I'm happy with that. That sounds amazing.
Right.
Can we talk about your strains a little bit?
Yeah.
So what did you bring for us? Because there's a few different packages here. Are these all
Yeah.
different strains?
Yeah.
Are these all out in the stores right now, or any of these testing?
2 of them are in stores now, and then one of them, we're perfectionists. we want to make sure everything is perfect. That's Ube.
Ube.
I'm sorry, that
And
is the
this is a what?
dopest package ever. This, when I saw that Moon
This
Man the
reminds
first
me of
time.
Corrupt Moon Rock.
Hey.
Okay, he used the Moon Man.
No, that's MTV.
Yeah, that was it.
Mushroom Movement.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you have plans on getting into psilocybin, but I don't care what it
I mean, do you see how the ice cream is melting in the snow though? Because that shows you how hot we dealing with right now. There's details.
I love it.
There's details.
I love it.
How did this whole time I did not see that was an
I see
ice
the ice cream.
Oh yeah, he's melting.
In my
It's
mind,
melting.
there was a Moon Man in space holding a microphone, and I'm looking at it right now, and I'm like, there's a Moon Man sitting in the
tight.
snow with his snow cone. Oh, that's way cooler now. That's even cooler than I thought it was.
So you got 2 brands in the market right now?
We have two in the store.
2 in the store right now. Which
Shout out to Culture.
Okay.
Can you describe ube to us? Like the
Ooh.
smell,
This
the
is like
aroma.
41
Give me
minutes.
that.
This is
Give me that.
jealousy.
Give me that sniff and squeezy of it.
Ooh, so you got to pull it out.
Okay.
So Ube has a vanilla aftertone that's just
So
absolutely
good.
extraordinary.
Okay.
It has a sweet inhale with a slight exotic finish that just blows you
Hungry,
away.
and I feel like I
There's
could eat
definitely a
it.
10 on the nose.
That's so nice.
Oh, wow. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
I love the smell
love
of
it.
fresh weed.
Yeah, and
So nice.
we believe in that your nose knows. So
Yeah,
if
your
you were to
nose
choose
knows.
between those, you know, your nose is going to tell you what that's going to do to your body.
Most
So.
consumers, most retailers don't even let you get a nose.
Yeah.
And then the ones that do got the nose, a little hole in it, been out there so long, there's no nose. So you got to go by the visual.
Yeah.
And that's what people do. So that's a great thing. Hey, guys, it's been a great pleasure having you here. Any shots outs? Can we get a shout out to somebody out there?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to all the plant science team. Everybody, you know who you are. I want to give a shout out to E-Conservation Construction.
Yes.
It handles all our build outs
Okay.
and build outs for everybody else. And shout out to Culture too. Culture Cannabis Club.
Culture Cannabis Club.
Yeah,
Big.
those are the retail
Yep.
stores. So
Right. How many stores they got? Like 10 or 5, something like that?
I think they have 7.
six or seven are open now.
Yeah.
And
Right.
there'll be probably 21, I think is what they have right now.
Okay. Great. Well, I want to thank you. Instagram, website,
Plant.
website. That's what I
Oh,
mean.
website, www.plantscience.com.
There's a lot of those out there, though.
We have the only one. We're the original.
Can you do me a
We
favor,
are
though?
the original.
Well, if you actually Google plant and science, like there's like botany,
Yeah, botany.
stuff that comes up, but it's like a Google search botany stuff that comes up,
Yeah.
but not a cannabis brand called Plant and Science. But you're right. That's like you Google Plant and Science, and without knowing the website, you got to go to, say it again?
plantscience.com.
They just got plantscience.com. That's easy, man. Could you
Of
do me a
course,
favor and
yeah.
hold up that bag for me right there, the Moon Man bag, to make sure we got that on
The
camera?
big dog.
Yeah, and tell us
That's the pound bag.
what the.
Pound bag.
That's the pound bag.
That's my overnight bag.
That's the
Yeah.
overnight. That's just our weekend smoke.
The pound bag.
That is gorgeous.
And it's beautiful, man.
It really is.
You know, one thing about that's the first thing I did was look at the bottom, right?
Oh, that's sick.
They
Yeah, we
actually-
have a message for everything that we do. So if you
Tell
look
us
at the
about
bottom,
the message of plant science. Give me a little rundown on the secret is in the science and the Moon Man and your cover art, and it's all very in the realm
they got
of.
a good our graphics art team.
Yeah.
I can tell you that much.
But tell me a
This
little
team
bit
right
about
here. This is the team.
Come on now.
Look at this.
we doing it.
Grab that. Let me
Yeah, so you can see the details in the
me a-
boxes as
Yeah,
well.
Dre's designed every
Oh, you
single
got
part
the-
of this.
Wow,
rays
really?
in there.
That's amazing.
The rays in there. Your graphics.
Yeah.
You got
so
a visionary.
I'm the visionary,
Yeah, it's a
exactly.
beautiful thing.
Tell me a little bit about the message behind plant science, and we'll wrap it up with that. But I don't want to miss out on this because I think you guys are doing something very cool, and your motivation behind it. It's kind of not to get like we're gonna get effed up at a party. It's like a little bit more substantial. Tell me a little bit about
it's
it.
for the people, for sure. So plant science, as you know, it actually means botany. So that's kind of us coming from a cultivation background.
Oh,
that
wow.
meant
So
everything
glad-
to us. So
absolutely.
kind of putting plant and science together, almost like vitamin water.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's everything to us. So we plant seeds to improve people's lives. And we feel like, you know, with the science that's behind the plant, that's everything that means everything to the plant. So when it comes to the research, the development, the critical thinking, the analysis, that's the science. So there's a science to this. There's a science to the plant. There's a science to everything. And when it's combined with yourself, there's a science in how it's going to react with you.
I love it.
And that's what we want to do. So we want to continue not only planting seeds in the physical growth space that's going to improve your life. We want to do that with everyone that we touch.
And as the chief visionary officer, having such a close personal story as to why you got into cannabis in the first place, I think that's a perfect fit. So plant science, man, I think you guys are doing some massive things. I love it. I love your branding. I love the smell. I would wear this. I've sprayed in my room. I love it. I love everything you guys are doing. One more time, if somebody does want to get a hold of you and they're thinking about getting a grow facility together, or if they want a white label, where do they get a hold of you directly?
Plant Science?
PlantScience.com.
Yeah.
Our Instagram is PlantXScience.
Got it right there.
If you want to email us, you can email us at admin@plantscience.com.
Got it.
Perfect.
And you can find us because we'll be around. We'll be here. You'll see us soon.
Thank you guys.
So we're
And
coming.
Remember, to our NUGL people, to our fans, to the Plant Science team, fire for the people, quality, consistency, honesty, compassion, and love. Plant seeds to improve people's lives. I want to thank you guys again.
Thank you.
Coming around,
Thanks for having us.
and coming down and being a part, supporting the Kush Stock Magazine first volume. I want to continue to love because we're bi-monthly issue, and there's other things that we're going to be doing with the Kush Stock Magazine, not just Kush Stock festivals, just to keep the word out there. We're going to be distributed. We are distributed in 93 stores, and they're all cannabis stores that carry my brand. So that's the indoor. Boom. That's the inside.
And check out Issue 2 is going to be distributed. It's going to be created and distributed at the Cannabis Awards Show in Las Vegas on July 10th. So keep an eye out for that.
I want to thank you guys again. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
In the building, guys.